In 1954, when I had polio, I was a 14-year-old boy, lived out in the country, and when it came Christmas time, I was to make a trip home, just for the day, to spend with my family. And the only way they could take me from Altoona Hospital to my home, which was about 20 miles away, was by ambulance, because there was no other way to travel. I ran about 80 miles an hour or so with the siren going. For them, it was kind of a hoot. And I remember thinking then, there's got to be a better way to do this. So it goes way back then.
Paul Dick was diagnosed at age 14 with polio. His own desire to live a fully mobile life ultimately led him to work for an early system of accessible transportation that has had a lasting impact on the lives of countless others living with physical disabilities. These efforts help lay the foundation for the Access Transportation System, a paratransit network that has made it possible for thousands of people in Allegheny County to attend college, work, and live independently. Paul's involvement in transportation advocacy spanned over a 55-year period and has reshaped our transit infrastructure. What factors in Paul's own life motivated him to advocate for mass transit solutions that provide access to everyone? As a teenager, Paul took several trips to Warm Springs, a polio treatment facility founded by one of history's most noteworthy individuals with polio, President Franklin D. Roosevelt. He was fortunate to have support from his friends and family. When Paul returned to high school, friends lifted him up and down school stairways. Undeterred by the physical and societal barriers in his way, Paul enrolled at Elizabethtown College in 1959. He used his National Merit Scholarship to pay fellow students to assist with getting in and out of inaccessible buildings on campus. When Paul joined the workforce in the 1960s, he continued to face transportation obstacles head-on.
When I went to work every day, I had to take a taxi cab, which was a little expensive, not to mention inconvenient, because there were times when it'd take a good while to get a cab. And even though I was on a list of people that they picked up regularly, I didn't have to call every day. Sometimes they'd show up half hour late or an hour late, and in bad weather it was not an easy thing.
By the 1970s, Paul had been appointed to the Federal Commission on Accessible Transportation and locally helped found Open Doors for the Handicapped and Magic Carpet Transportation. Magic Carpet transported over 85,000 people in its first 7 years of operation.
We recognized that that was a real issue and decided to start then what ended up being called Magic Carpet Transportation Service. Basically a private paratransit service operated, not-for-profit, operated by consumers.
Magic Carpet would go on to form the foundation of the Access Transportation System, which celebrates its 40th anniversary in 2019, having provided over 66 million rides. Access service is provided in 4 to 15-seat passenger vehicles, including lift-equipped vans and sedans, owned, operated, and maintained by access service providers. Paul Dick led the charge to elevate the needs of everyday citizens and create policies for sustainable and accessible transportation systems across the United States. With 300-plus vehicles, Access now averages 5,000 trips per weekday.
He did a lot of work at a national level with setting standards for housing and public buildings for facilities to accommodate people in wheelchairs and all sorts of things like that, as well as public transportation. So he was a constant inspiration, and we worked well together, and I think he was probably one of the primary influences in my life.
His legacy to increase access to transportation serves as a reminder for all who strive to make society more equitable and to persist, regardless of the obstacles that may come their way.